Today is Thursday, April 9th, and this is our read aloud for Out of My Mind. If we remember from last time, Melody was just getting home and Mrs. V was waiting for her out of the bus, and Melody was super excited to share the news about her computer, but Mrs. V thinks it's about doing her homework. Hold your horses, Mrs. V says. When are you excited to do homework? What's got you all in a tizzy today? I just grin and kick. After my snack of caramel candy first and tuna melt last, and after Penny, who has just gotten up from her nap, eats her applesauce, Mrs. V finally pulls the papers out of my bag. Well, this is exactly what you need, Mrs. V says, slapping the printouts onto the table after reading them. No wonder you're all fired up. Yes, 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 I tap on my board. Then I point to the individual words, talk, to, mom, and, dad, talk, talk, talk. I'll do just that, just as soon as they get home from work, Melody, Mrs. V promises. I can hardly wait, while Penny watches Cookie Monster gobble carrots instead of cookies on Sesame Street. I dream of talking, talking, and more talking. When Mom picks us up, Mrs. V, true to her word, not only shows Mom the printouts, but even has her computer already set to the webpage where the MetaTalker is advertised and sold. Penny sits on Mom's lap and keeps pushing computer keys, messing up the display, which is getting on my nerves. But Mom watches the video that shows people actually talking and cracking jokes and even going to college by using that machine. Mrs. V explains to Mom how this is exactly right for me, and Mom, instead of being practical and sensible and thrifty like she usually is, seems to agree. Looks like insurance will cover about half the cost, she muses as she navigates the website. Let me talk to Chuck. This is long overdue. Tonight? Question mark. I ask from my board. Yep, tonight, Mom says, giving me a squeeze. But nothing happens right away in my world. Mom fills out the online application for the machine the next day and sends it in. I wait. Then we have to ask my doctor to fax in a prescription. I've heard of prescriptions for antibiotics, but for machines? That seems crazy. Who'd ever want this machine unless they needed it? I wait. Next, we have to get approval from our insurance company. More paperwork and phone calls, more questions and answers. I wait. A parental financial statement has to be turned in. You gotta be kidding me. Why do they make it so complicated? I wait. The medical form was missing one signature and has to be resubmitted. I wait. One last approval form from a school official has to be turned in. I wait. I realize I've been waiting for this thing all my life. Finally, finally, on the Wednesday before Christmas, the MetaTalker arrives. I need no other gift. When I get home from school, Mrs. V tells me that she hurried to my house when she saw the UPS truck pulling up in our driveway. She signed for the package and brought it to her house for safekeeping. The huge brown box sits there taped and secure, and it is addressed to me. I wiggle and squeal and insist we open it right away. I can feel one of my tornadoes coming on. Spastic City, here I come. Calm down, Mellow Yellow, Mrs. V says, placing a hand on my shoulder, but I can't relax. Open, 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 I tap. Well, your mom knew you'd be impatient, Mrs. V says, so when I called her to say it arrived, she told me it was okay for us to open it. I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack watching Mrs. V carefully open the edges of the box. She lets me pull out the brown paper inside. Then, under about a mile of bubble wrap, there it is. The MetaTalker. Smaller than I expected. It's only the size of my wheelchair tray, but it's sleek and shiny and cool to the touch. It is like a butterfly ready to unfold its wings. Boy, oh boy, I can't wait to try it. Mrs. V plugs it into a wall outlet to charge the battery, then pulls out the huge booklet of directions. Phew, she says. This will take a year to read and understand. She flops down in a soft, easy chair with Penny on her lap and begins to read. And I begin to wait, and wait, and wait. Finally, when I just know I'm going to explode, I wheel over to the table where the meta talker sits. I've seen the kids at school play video games they've never seen before, and I've seen them program their phones and computers without touching a book of instructions. So I take my right thumb and push the on button. The board whirs and glows, and then a welcome message appears on the screen. I push another button and a voice that sounds like an Englishman with a really bad head cold blurts out, "Welcome to Meditaka." Mrs. V jumps up from the couch. I shriek with joy. "Looks like you're way ahead of me, Melody. Now that I'm surprised." Not that I'm surprised. She sets Penny down. "Now let's see what this machine can do." I feel like Christopher Columbus bumping into America. It had been there all the time, but he was the first one from his world to find it. I wonder if his heart had beat as fast as mine is. We quickly discover that the Metatalker has more than a dozen levels, all easily reached with just one button. So on level 1, we program in the names of everyone I know. My name, all the members of my family, kids and teachers at my school, my doctors, the neighbors, my parents, friends, and of course, Mrs. V. On the second level, she insists we add all the vocabulary words we've been collecting on our multicolored 3 by 5 inch flashcards. Type, save, type, save. Mrs. V's fingers fly as she keeps adding words for me. Lots of our vocabulary words are already in the machine's memory, but she gives me more, more, more. Nouns, verbs, adverbs, and adjectives, thousands of them, as well as cool sentence maker that is located on another level. We can prepare hundreds of phrases and sentences and get to them with just a touch. Phrases and questions like, "Have you heard their latest song?" "That's what's up." "How did you do on the spelling test?" Ordinary words, normal conversation. "I've never had that." Awesome. Another level is for numbers and even computation. I'll be able to do math now. Maybe I won't tell the teachers about that one. And there's a level full of corny jokes and silly sayings with room left for us to add more. Another level plays music. I can connect the device to a computer and download any song I want. I can't wait to search iTunes. Maybe I can ask Rose which songs are hot. Rose! I can actually talk to Rose now! We stop programming after a while. Penny needs to be changed and kept occupied, but I'm much too excited to rest. So after Mrs. V gets Penny set up with her dollhouse at the foot of the couch, we add even more words and phrases. Finally, she stops typing and says, "Would you like to try it out?" The room is absolutely quiet. I stroke the edge of the machine softly, then push 2 buttons. "Thanks, Mrs. V," the computer's voice says. She blinks real fast. I do too. She reaches for a tissue. We both need it. Mrs. V tucks the tissue into her pocket, then begins reading again from the instruction manual. "Hey, listen to this," she says. "With that connector cord, you can also save longer things you want to write, like stories or poems on the computer." "Wow," the machine says. Mrs. V nods in agreement. "This is going to be fun. You're going to need lots of practice to make it say what you want, kid." She's right. Many levels have been left blank for users to input their own information. Words, sentences, phone numbers, even pictures. Information can be typed directly into the machine or can be downloaded from a computer. It's a little overwhelming. "We can design this to fit you, Melody," Mrs. V tells me. "This will be your world, so let's take our time and make it exactly what you need." I am so happy. I almost feel like hugging the machine, but that would look silly. Instead, I name it. That's probably pretty dumb, but sometimes it's good to have something that nobody else knows but you. I'm not going to type the name into the machine because it's personal, but in my mind, I'm going to call the meta talker Elvira, after that song I like. Yep, my heart's on fire for Elvira.